Hello guys, back again with the Alrasta channel. And this time, as always, we will be back to talk about the best Donghua series, and of course, it is SwallowedStar. In the previous episode, Luo Feng's adventure in the Cosmic Mercenary Assessment Test lasted quite a long time, due to the appearance of a world within a world in which there were many treasures that were fought over by many parties. Luo Feng and his team had already collected quite a lot of boundary ore. It was an item needed if one wanted to exchange the various treasures contained within the Blue Castle. In the middle of the process, Luo Feng had to face various kinds of conflicts, such as the ambush carried out by Chu Yu from the White Tiger Tower organization, who had previously formed an alliance with Nolan Shan. However, their ambush was thwarted by the Three Axes Mountain organization, which appeared as reinforcements, and now Luo Feng has entered the Blue Castle to exchange treasures. So what happens next? Let's get into the storyline. When conducting the exchange session, the princess had to wait for a while, as the system was undergoing some repairs. And after waiting for a while, the princess immediately proposed an exchange with Lord Wu, where she would exchange 10 million boundary ores for the first password to the inherited crystal ball treasure that she had targeted from the beginning. But who would have thought that Lord Wu would mention that it was not possible? Because a few seconds ago, the password for the inherited crystal ball had just been exchanged by someone, an incident that made the princess feel very upset while pointing her gun at Lord Wu, who felt he had just been played. Lord Wu felt that he had wasted his time so that the inherited crystal ball could be exchanged by someone else. Lord Wu responded to the princess with a big laugh. He laughed after seeing the princess, who turned out to have a very bad temper. In a moment, the princess recalled her grandfather Hargrave's words that he wanted his granddaughter to get the inherited crystal ball no matter what. Because then, the grandfather would be able to help the princess defeat her brothers in the battle for power. And now that the treasure had been exchanged by someone else, he was forced to find another way to get it. Now he could no longer rely on the treasure exchange session in this Blue Castle. So there was no other reason to stay too long in that place. While leaving the inner area of the Blue Castle, the ninth princess made a call to Guishi, conveying that the inherited crystal ball had now been redeemed by someone else. That was why Guishi was asked to pay attention to the person who came out first from inside the castle. The first person to come out was most likely the warrior who had redeemed the treasure. From the direction of the half-opened gate, the warriors from various factions began to watch with each other, until finally a male figure came out, and it was none other than Luo Feng. Although all eyes were now on him, Luo Feng continued walking and tried to remain calm, ignoring those spies with bad intentions. He didn't stop a single step until Luo Feng finally rejoined his team. Hong asked Luo Feng to be careful, because Luo Feng could be targeted by the other party, especially since he had just left the Blue Castle. Of course, everyone knew that Luo Feng had just exchanged a very valuable treasure. Since Luo Feng was the first warrior to come out of the Blue Castle, Guishi was very certain that he was the one who had exchanged the main treasure of the inherited crystal ball. However, right now, he would not make a move first. Aside from the fact that fighting was prohibited in the area around the castle, Luo Feng was now also under the protection of the Three Axe Mountain organization, so attacking him directly would not be an easy matter. That was why Guishi would first ask the princess before taking action. Luo Feng and the team then moved on to the Three Axes Mountain organization's base nearby and set up soundproof barriers because they were going to have a pretty risky conversation. The Thunder God, who felt very curious, asked, what had Luo Feng exchanged inside the Blue Castle earlier? And it wasn't what we expected, guys. Luo Feng actually traded the collected boundary ore for several treasures, including a sword, a ring, and the fruit of life. Luo Feng at that time used 1.11 million boundary ores to be able to get the 3 treasures. During the exchange session, Lord Wu didn't expect that Luo Feng's small group could collect such a large amount of boundary ore. And after Lord Wu received the boundary ore from Luo Feng, he gave him 3 pieces of luggage. On the left and right sides were the 5th order treasures, a sword called the Soul Blade, and a ring-shaped telekinesis weapon called the Ray Ring. While in the center, the suitcase contained a treasure that Luo Feng intended to use to increase the level of the rubbed cloud rattan, the fruit of life. It was a magical fruit that contained pure vitality and usually formed naturally in the universe. Here, Luo Feng also asked about the inherited crystal ball that became the first order treasure, and Lord Wu also answered that the treasure had been exchanged by someone, but he could not reveal the identity related to that person in order to maintain his security. The treasure exchanged by Luo Feng was considered quite good, according to the Thunder God, who was currently playing Soul Blade. Meanwhile, regarding Ming Yu's previous request, it turned out that Ming Yu at that time only asked Luo Feng to immediately provide a report regarding the movement of the other party who exchanged treasures inside the Blue Castle. And after making the exchange, Luo Feng had also previously sent a report message to Ming Yu. The fruit of life that has been obtained alone has been determined to be used to give to Rubbed Cloud Rattan, while the remaining 2 treasures would later be sold for money. Both treasures were very valuable if sold outside of this Thunder World. Of course, the money is very useful, among which is definitely to develop strength, so that Earth fighters can survive the invasion that is still on the way and threatens the existence of the Earth. Luo Feng here also intended to give some of the funds he obtained to Aogo and Tianan. Luo Feng was confident that Hong and the Thunder God would definitely agree with this decision. Unlike evil masters who regarded slaves as mere tools, Luo Feng himself regarded the slaves he bought as precious teammates. They were partners who had fought between life and death together with Luo Feng. That was why Luo Feng would now also remove the biochips embedded inside Aogo and Tianan's brains. Before doing so, Babata again confirmed whether Luo Feng really wanted to do it, because the action Luo Feng wanted to take was very dangerous. There was a possibility that his 2 subordinates would betray Luo Feng. Especially for now, these 2 were also people who were stronger than Luo Feng and the others. Of course, although that possibility still existed, Luo Feng had already made up his mind. Luo Feng preferred to believe in Aogo and Tianan, whom he already regarded as comrades in arms. And then the operation to remove the biochip from the brain was started by Babata. The process was fairly short and without problems. After the biochips were removed from Tianan and Aogo's brains, the 2 of them could move freely according to their will. Luo Feng here also said that now the 2 of them were free and no longer needed to follow orders from anyone. Meanwhile, some of the income from the Thunder World that they would receive could later be used to start a new life for the 2. After receiving good treatment from Luo Feng, Aogo asked why Luo Feng did this. Was he not afraid that the 2 of them would betray him, especially since their level was also much higher? When compared to Luo Feng, Hong, and Thunder God, Luo Feng here even asked if the 2 of them would do this now. Tianan suddenly stomped 1 foot on the surface, making Babata feel a little scared. It wasn't because he wanted to attack, but to bow their heads before Luo Feng. Of course, Tianan and Aogo promised Luo Feng that they swore allegiance to him and would continue to protect the safety of the Earth. Despite having a big and muscular body, Tianan showed a soft side here. He cried because he had received very good treatment from Luo Feng. Of course, after all, if they really wanted to play the role of Earth saviors, they first had to get out of the Thunder World safely. Next, we move into the 9th princess's room, and this time she has a meeting with Nolan Shan and Chu Yu. From now on, they will work together because they have the same goal. Nolan emphasized that the reason he would listen to the princess's instructions was because of the common goal of getting rid of Luo Feng. Nolan desperately wanted to kill Luo Feng so that no one could stop him from gaining ownership of the earth. Cho Yu immediately stood up from his chair because he couldn't wait to eliminate Luo Feng. But the problem was that Luo Feng now had the backing of 3-Axe Mountain, which could be considered quite strong. The princess smiled and reminded Chu Yu. If this princess was from the Black Dragon Mountain Imperial family, she couldn't be compared to Luo Feng, who was just a lackey of 3-Axe Mountain. Even after they killed Luo Feng, the princess was very confident that a figure like Tian Chen from 3-Axe Mountain would not dare to continue the conflict with the Empire. Moreover, there was the Hargrave that the princess was so proud of. Princess had previously exchanged the boundary ore for other treasures because the inheritance crystal ball password had been exchanged first. Therefore, the next thing they needed to do was kill Luo Feng and get the first password needed to unlock the inherited crystal ball stored in the universe's first bank. Nolan Shan here felt very confident that by relying on the 3 parties intertwining their powers into one, they could turn Luo Feng into ashes. Here, Luo Feng asked, "Are there people from the Imperial Martial Arts team around there?" Babata replied safely. Luo Feng also asked Babata to turn off the communication signal, as his team would be leaving the place soon. Elsewhere, Gui Shi, who was currently locking down the movements of Luo Feng and his team, was in fact still able to track the coordinates of Luo Feng's team. He was here using a special reconnaissance drone belonging to the Empire that was also directly connected to Hargrave. With that device, Gui Shi said, Luo Feng would not be able to escape anywhere because his movements had been locked down. Along with that, Gui Shi ordered his members to get ready, as they would immediately start moving towards the target of the operation. Halfway through the journey, Hong began to sense something was off, as they did not encounter a single warrior in sight. And sure enough, soon after Babata found out that there were thousands of enemies waiting for Luo Feng's team. It turned out that they had been hiding behind the thick fog and were preparing for an ambush. When Luo Feng and the team were spotted, the enemy revealed itself. After Babata searched for information on the opponent, it was discovered that the thousands of people were from the Imperial Martial Arts Group, the Nolan family, and the White Tiger Tower, who were now forming a mobile alliance under the orders of the 9th Princess. Babata felt confused, even though she had turned off the communication signal. But why did these people gather in this place at once, as if the enemy had known Luo Feng and the team's movements from the beginning? This is really a very dangerous situation for Luo Feng's team, said Lord Wu, who was seen doing reconnaissance. Luo Feng's team, which only consisted of 5 people, was now being chased by 3 major forces, and of course, the chance to escape would be very difficult for the 5 people. When Luo Feng and the team entered the crevices of the mountains, Babata asked them to be careful of the destructive laser shots that the Imperial team had. Considering that the weapon could destroy a 2nd-level, universe-level figure, it was definitely not an attack that they could handle, so dodging was the solution. Dodging the destructive laser fire was a very difficult thing to do. Indeed, none of the 5 people were hit by the opponent's laser fire. However, trying to dodge the attack slowed down their movement and eventually led to them being chased and surrounded by their opponents. Again and again, Luo Feng's team had to face ambushes, but on a larger scale than before. And now, Luo Feng also didn't have the backing of Three-Axe Mountain, who didn't know Luo Feng's position. Babata had previously disabled the communication signal, but they gained a little hope when Babata said that she had a way to escape the situation. Not long after, Guishi, who was carrying a destructive laser, haughtily told Luo Feng to hand over his password. Luo Feng, of course, asked back what password Guishi was referring to. Even if the opponent knew that Luo Feng didn't have the password, it was clear that they still wouldn't let Luo Feng escape, because the enemy had the goal of killing Luo Feng. Until finally, Guishi fired a laser shot at Luo Feng, and finally, boom. Here, Chu Yu was seen laughing in satisfaction for a moment when Luo Feng and his team were hit by a shot from a destructive laser. But apparently, it didn't match his expectations. In fact, the shot was targeted at the wall of the fighter plane owned by the Nolan family that Luo Feng captured. The C-9 level aircraft that could survive the universe-level attack that Babata had prepared in the storage room when they entered the Cosmic Mercenary Assessment Test. Luo Feng and the team, without lingering, rushed in the direction of the plane. But it would not be easy, because the opponent continued to fire a barrage of laser shots at them. It was at these moments that Luo Feng had to lag behind to avoid being hit by the opponent's attacks. Tianan, who knew his boss was in a dangerous position, then turned around and moved towards Luo Feng, followed by Aogo behind him. And when a laser shot headed towards Luo Feng, Tianan pushed Luo Feng, who sacrificed himself so that Luo Feng could be saved. The explosion created by the shot released Hong, god of thunder, and Aogo into the plane. But here Aogo had to suffer an injury where one of his legs was severed, so Hong and the thunder god were the only ones who returned to give help to Luo Feng. Now all that was left was Tianan's sword, which had been mixed with bloodstains. Losing one of the subordinates that Luo Feng already considered a comrade in arms had triggered a rage that could no longer be contained. Not caring about his position, Luo Feng acted impulsively while carrying a moving sword towards Guishi. It was truly a very reckless act. But before Luo Feng attacked, Hong and the Thunder God acted quickly to activate the domain to block the attack of the opponent, and also Luo Feng. Together with that, Hong directly pulled Luo Feng's body using the rubbed cloud rattan into the airship, and that was how they were able to escape the hard times. Although in the ambush incident that occurred, there had to be casualties that were not saved. Here, Chu Yu also felt very upset because again, Luo Feng was able to escape. But it didn't matter, Guishi said, because now Luo Feng's position could be known at any time, and now they only needed to chase him. In the other direction, Lord Wu, who had been watching the ambush, felt impatient to see if Luo Feng could really escape from the hard times that had befallen him. Next, we will move on to Luo Feng's team plane. There we see Aogo, who is quite seriously injured, whimpering against the pain he must receive. The water of life that was given also seems not to work, because Aogo's level is too high to make the water of life not have much effect. After checking, Babata found that the cell tissue structure in Aogo's wound was still unbroken. And here Babata used the life force of the wood crystal to heal Aogo. Shortly after absorbing the essence of the wood crystal, Aogo's severed leg regenerated quickly. Indeed, he survived, but the man's tears were seen falling, not because of the pain he had to endure, but because he now had to lose his comrade in arms, Tianan. Leaving behind a worn-out sword that had been mixed with the stains of his own blood, Luo Feng promised that Tianan's death would not end in vain. It was really a pity that Tianan didn't enjoy a new life, even though he had just been freed from the slave seal. The scene moved to the position of the enemy, who continued to give chase as they were about to catch up with Luo Feng. However, it was at that moment that the princess made a video call and told Guishi to immediately stop the pursuit. It was not without reason because, in fact, after getting information from the spies her placed in northern Dragon City, the first cipher of the inherited crystal ball previously thought to be held by Luo Feng was actually redeemed by the Northern Dragon City organization. And a few days ago, the strongest figure leading the Northern Dragon City team had already moved out of the world within this world. Hence, from now on, their target would be changed to chasing after the Northern Dragon City group, because after all, the princess had to bring back the inheritance crystal ball. After sending the coordinates of the target's whereabouts, the princess ordered all of her members to immediately move and kill the target that was not too far away. Chu Yu here asked, if the target was changed, then what about Luo Feng? Of course, Nolan also wanted Luo Feng to be eliminated immediately, because that was the goal from the beginning. With a firm attitude, the princess ordered the members of Nolan and the White Tiger to help her obtain the first inheritance crystal ball password first. The princess's words instantly made Nolan and Chu Yu look very dissatisfied. Hence, the princess promised that after all this was done, the Black Dragon Mountain Empire would declare that Luo Feng, who was also part of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's population, would be sentenced to death. And that's the ending of the 117th SwallowedStar episode that made us so sad after losing Tianan. But take it easy, guys, because this is a short spoiler for the next episode. After escaping from the enemy's pursuit, the rubbed cloud rattan, Luo Feng's armor, absorbs the fruit of life that he had previously obtained, and Luo Feng uses it to help the Northern Dragon City, which is the enemy's target. Is it time for Luo Feng to commit a massacre, guys? Who knows? Okay. Thank you to those of you who have watched until the last minute, and the last word from me. Bye.
齐宗公，谢罗峰，
你在放弃将公会，
这么大的时间点，
离快！
天赐教，可能。